Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. This program is for educational purposes only. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual sharing their testimony. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach. Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. This program is for educational purposes only. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual sharing their testimony. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach.
Hello and good afternoon and good morning, everyone. Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. Let's go ahead and open up that Zoom room and waiting room and let everybody in. We are so glad that you joined us today because we have an amazing guest who is one of my favorites, Richard Renton, who is the, he's amazing. And I switched screen. So he is the control issue. Okay, we started good. Anyway, he has a very important job making sure all the products are very high quality. And anyway, so today is going to be a great show. Richard is going to talk about a lot of phenomenal things. And I also need to read the disclaimer, which I cannot do for some reason. Anyway, this show is not meant to treat, diagnose, or cure any diseases. It's for educational purposes only. And we are very grateful that you are here. And I'm going to go ahead and bring Richard on with me. And we are going to just start the show. And we're going to have a great time. So hello and welcome, Richard.
Good morning, or afternoon, depending on where you are. So yeah, my job when we started with Longevity is I was the formulator that formulated all the initial products with Longevity. I've continued to formulate products, but I have coworkers that come out with formulations as well. I also, in the beginning, oversee all quality control. But as the company grew and I made it clear that I really didn't want to move to California, they do a lot of that in-house now, so I'm not as involved with that. I am involved with the manufacturers, though, in helping them make sure that they maintain their status as far as the third-party testing and the CGMP guidelines within the government. So a little bit, and I do that on a volunteer basis. I'm not an employee of Youngevity. I'm just an independent distributor like all of you, with a few exceptions to the rules, I guess. And so it's exciting to be here. And so I have a weekly call as well on Monday evenings. And quite often what happens is that people ask questions, and we spend a half hour, 45 minutes or whatever, just answering questions that seem to be popping up. And so I thought I would kind of do the same format here, except I have some questions ahead of time that will have issues that I'll talk about, and open it up for conversations and try to answer some of your questions. And so I'm just going to rattle off the main one. I'm going to kind of save for the end to talk about, and that's colloidal and those types of things. But I'm going to go over some really quick things just in the last 3 or 4 days that I've gotten. Sciatic nerve challenges. What most people don't realize is that our product, we get lots of calcium, but we don't get a lot of magnesium. And with sciatica challenges, you want to make sure you're getting a minimum of 2,000 milligrams of calcium in your diet, as well as 1,000 milligrams of magnesium. I also like nerve support to help with the inflammation within the nerve itself. That's under the Good Herbs product. It is a tincture. So be aware that if you have someone that's really sensitive about alcohol, it is an alcohol tincture. If they're just concerned, they can always put their, you can do strange things like me and have calibrated little units, and you can measure out your dose and leave it out overnight, because alcohol evaporates and it will reduce out and in that direction. Also, if the a sciatic nerve can be caused by a compression of a disc or a misaligned spinal column. And so liquid glucogel, I've also heard, have been beneficial in those ways. And so those are the types of situations. Of course, I'm not treating you, and I'm not diagnosing you, so don't get me in trouble, people. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 3.0, I got asked, does it have nuts or seafood in it, or shellfish in it? And the answer to those is no. It also, if you got the initial batch that came out, on the label it said vitamin D3. Vitamin D3 is derived from lanolin, which is sheep wool. It was the only animal-based product in there. So on the second run, we changed it from D3 to D2, which is an algae-based product, so it's plant-based. So it's now vegetarian friendly. And that's kind of exciting, because it's not something that we've really focused on. Doc, over the years, feel that vegetarians quite often don't get enough protein and things like that, and it is not his preferred way of diet. But there is a growing population out there, especially outside of the United States, on that. If you see a product with D3 in it, because we're getting messages on the board already, if you see a product with D3 in it, that's from lanolin. And so, you know, on the 2.5, I quickly have to look it up. You know, there's a lot of products now, and I just don't remember all the formulas off the top of my head. So if it has D3, it is lanolin. So to keep that in mind, Saxi, we've changed the formula on it. It's called Saxi Plus now. The filler that's in it, we don't really like to call it filler. You'll notice that a lot of our products have brown organic rice from non-GMO from Canada. It was an inexpensive way to give volume, because people want to see a full scoop or most of a scoop when they pour the product for a purpose of value, and I understand that. And so we'll go there, and we're switching that. And we're switching to the point where we're going to use collagen instead of the organic rice. And Saxi is the first product that we have that we put collagen in it and not the organic rice. And so we put 2,000 milligrams of collagen in it. And it really, really, really tastes good. And so I commend the people down in California and Scottsdale on the flavor, because You can mix practically anything with Saxy and it tastes really good. It's still an excellent antioxidant with all the super juices in it, and it has the vitamin C and everything. But if you've never looked at Saxy, you should go to the website, youngjevity.com, and it's going to be one of the banners at the top. You can move left or right on the banners until you get that product, and it's beneficial. But yeah, we now have 2 full grams of collagen in that product, and there's a lot of health benefits with collagen. I don't have to talk that much about that. We've done that. The other new thing is that we have a new shake. Whoops, let's see if I can hold this right. I'll go like that. And it tastes just like peppermint mint ice cream, but it's got some pluses to it. It's got 24 grams of protein per serving. It's probably the highest protein drink we have. It tastes absolutely great. And then I'm going to hold this up again because you can kind of see it here. You notice if I switch hands, it has a little bag and a big bag. So it comes with individual serving sachets in it, and where you just tear it open and pour it. No more scoops, no more big buckets. So it's easier for Youngevity to ship everything out. And it fits in the boxes much better, and it makes it, and then everyone gets the right portion every single time. The only thing that it doesn't is that when you think of peppermint mint ice cream, you think it's going to be green. It's going to be brown because of the chocolate is the predominant flavor. It is a whey protein, and it is limited edition. You get 15 of those sachets in a big bag, and it's just under $40. And so I think it's a great product. Yesterday I ordered 3 for me personally. And I want to give it a try when I go on my cruise. And so it'll be easier for me to pack than trying to do either bags and baggies, scoops and baggies, or take a tub in my luggage. But the main source of protein is still whey. And so if people want to ask that product question, you can ask it. Now, the main issue, everyone always asks me chemical questions. And so a long time ago, we actually, when Youngevity was still American Longevity, went to the physician's desk reference for nutritional products and put an article in it about our plant-derived minerals and colloidal and the benefits of colloidal. And they actually accepted us.
Recording in progress.
Sorry.
Okay. The plant-derived minerals and classic were actually put in the physician's desk reference. Now, we only did it for that 1 year because there's quite a bit of a thing. But if you're interested, I can get you the information. You can go to your library and possibly find it, or go online and possibly find it. But it's kind of neat. But everyone always asks, what is colloidal? What does that mean? And it's usually derived from humic shale. It's usually is quite a bit of fulvic acid. And what it does is that if you picture a cell as a wiffle ball, if everyone can date themselves like me as a wiffle ball, and it had big holes in a wiffle ball, right? If you think of that as a cell and stuff trying to get in, it has to have a certain size. And if it's too big, it can't get in. And so what typically happens with minerals in general is they like to bond to each other, and they become rather large. In other words, it isn't just one molecule of calcium. One molecule of calcium can get in anywhere in your body. It's hundreds, and they become so big they can't fit in. So what colloidal does is that the plant has already absorbed the mineral, and in doing so, it broke it down to a smaller molecular particle. So instead of being hundreds of molecules, it's 1, 2, or 3, and therefore it's easy for it to get inside your body. Doc has always been a fan of colloidal minerals. Now, vitamins aren't minerals. Amino acids aren't minerals. Essential fatty acids are minerals. So we're just talking about minerals right now. And it's important to understand that the colloidal mineral can pretty much get in anywhere. The other thing to keep in mind is that since it's already broken down for a plant, it has that benefit. We're having more and more problems over the years getting it into Europe, because Europe asks us, what plants are there? Well, when you get it from a humic shale deposit, it's 1,000,000 years old. And so we can't do that. So they say if you can't identify the plant, you can't put it in. So it creates some challenges, but something that we overcome. The only way that you can get a true colloidal product is when it's suspended in a liquid. And so you've got to keep that in mind. Now I'm going to kind of go change subjects to a different form, and then we're going to kind of come back. The other one that came out was ionic. What ionic technically means is that when you have a bunch of molecules together, whether they're minerals or other things, typically they're minerals, they'll transfer ions until they're all the same charge. And in doing so, the philosophy or the advertisement feels it absorbs better. Typically, it is a small, when that happens, it is a smaller particle, but it's typically not as small as colloidal, but it's an argument point. People have a tendency to argue that. But I can tell you that fulvic acid and the plant-derived minerals are 95% or greater, all negative ions, so they're like charge. So as they go into your small intestines and whatnot, it's just like a magnet. If your digestive tract is allowing positive molecules to pass through with less resistance, which it typically does, it absorbs into your bloodstream more effectively. And so that's the benefit. So now ionic is good. I still feel with the science that I've seen that colloidal is stronger. So it's the way that we push that situation. Now, as I mentioned before, we talked about that Europe is becoming more of a challenge on those types of things. So sometimes you'll see that we're getting an algae form or a seaweed form of minerals within our product. And so we extract the minerals from the seaweed and whatnot, which means it's almost the same as colloidal because it's already broken down the minerals once it's in there, and we can put them in there, and then we can tell the European EU it comes from this type of seaweed, and they allow our product back in. So when you look at, for example, mineral caps, you'll see that there's fulvic acid in humic shale form, as well as this algae. If you look at it and you combine the two together, an ounce of our plant-derived minerals is 600 milligrams. I think the combined volume per capsule is 300 of the fulvic and like 280, I want to say off the top of my head, of the algae form. And so it's 580 to 6. If you really want 600 milligrams of fulvic acid, just take 2 of the mineral caps. They come 64 in a bottle. So it's a month supply if you take 2. If you take 1, it's a 2-month supply. So depending on what you do, if you take 1 a month, it's actually almost a better value dollar-wise than our liquid, but it's all up to you. Now, when we have the plant-derived minerals in a non-flavored, which is astringent, it makes your mouth pucker. At least it makes my mouth pucker. And it comes 18,000 milligrams per liter. And if you do your math, you can realize that's 600 milligrams per fluent ounce, or 33.3 milliliters. And you could take that way. Cherry mints is the exact same concentration. We just put a cherry extract in it. Strawberry kiwi, same way. There's no difference there. I'm going to take a little sip here. And so now we can start moving into, do we have colloidal minerals in our complex vitamins? And in most of the cases, the answer is yes, but they're in powders. So is it really colloidal? Well, by definition, no, until you pour that scoop into water and you dissolve it. Once you dissolve it, then the answer is technically yes. And it actually dissolves better once you get in your stomach because there's acid in your stomach. And that helps that dissolve situation as well. But what about the minerals like the tricalcium phosphate that we add to it? Is that colloidal? Technically, no, but tricalcium phosphate by name is 3 molecules of calcium to 1 molecule of phosphate, and it's relatively small and absorbs. Going back to straight colloidal minerals, I forgot to put this in there. A lot of people ask, how do you know it absorbs easily? And the easiest way is a home test. And if you have a scrape or an abrasion, or if you have a mild sunburn on your arms, take a little colloidal built minerals and spray it on half the wound or half the burn and leave the other without, and see what part heals faster. And you're going to find out that it's the part that has the plant-derived minerals will heal faster, because the molecules are so small, it goes through the membrane openings in your skin. And that's the best way that I can explain that works. And if you've had any of our Japanese guests in it, they are big proponents of putting the plant-derived minerals in our sprayer and dilute it and spray it on their skin, because they feel it tightens their skin as well as a benefit. And so in that way. But then bouncing back to the complex liquids, we put the plant-derived minerals, like in Classic, we put 600 milligrams in there, but then we add more minerals on top of that that aren't colloidal. They don't absorb better, but they hit bullet points like we need to have more calcium, we need to have more magnesium, we need to have more selenium, and things like that. Now, once you take ionic and colloidal, and we'll put them at the top, then we have layers going below that they don't absorb as well, but they're not terrible. When you talk about terrible, calcium carbonate to me is not great. You're only going to absorb 15 to 20% of the calcium in a calcium carbonate, and then it goes up from there. My second favorite, up on top in the 60% range, is anything that's attached to an amino acid. Your body has a tendency to accept amino acids, and so like selenium has an amino acid attached to it in Selenium Plus, as well as all the seleniums that we use. Methyl, it's a methyl form and absorbs better. So we're leaning towards methyl in all of our things, such as methylcobalamin, which is B12 in the more absorbable form, as well as methylfolate, which is a more absorbable form of that. You absorb more. There's some people out there that seem to think they can't absorb any of the other forms, and that's not totally correct, but this all depends on how healthy your gut is. If your gut's extremely healthy, you can absorb all of them, maybe not 100%. We can never promise that. But if your gut's not healthy, you don't absorb any of them, no matter how good they are. That's one of the reasons why I typically start everyone always on the healthy digestive pack, especially with I-26 tagged to it, because then I'm putting in healthy probiotics and we're killing the bad probiotics with the I-26. So we get a healthier gut. We're going to absorb more, because, you know, all these vitamins that everyone takes, huge amounts, and it's a major investment. And so you want to take advantage of it. So taking I-26 as well as probiotics will always make your gut healthy. And to give you guys an idea on how crazy I am about probiotics, I take about 200 billion a day. So I take huge amounts of probiotics to keep my gut healthy, as well as a full scoop of I-26 every single day. So let's see here. We talked about ionic pills. Unfortunately, the biggest challenge with pills, especially if they take Century One or One a Day or all those are heavily coated pills so that they can put a 5-year shelf life on it. And the disadvantage of those coatings is that it's hard, even with the acid on your stomach, to break it down. And if you remember the old tape with Dr. Wallach, he might even be on the call today. I can't see everybody, but he talked, I remember many times in his lectures, he says you can always tell when someone is taking Century One or One a Day, because you hear them go plop, plop, plop when they're in the bathroom. And, you know, not the most pleasant idea to think, but they just don't absorb well. And, you know, Steve and I did an interesting test when we had a lab in my office, and we actually put One a Day and Century One in pure 30% vinegar, which is very, very acidic. It's 2.0 or less on the pH scale. And it was true. We would leave it in there overnight, 24 hours, and we would come back and the pills would still be in a solid mass in the bottom of that vinegar. So it's kind of an interesting test. I always like to do tests like that with kids to show them some basic chemistry. Sometimes you don't have the time lapse, but you could always film it, but there's always interesting things. And so when we make our tablets like Ultimate Classic and Ultimate Daily and whatnot, do what's called a soft pack. And we don't put anything but a very, very light coat of coating on it so it doesn't oxidize, which will allow it to dissolve in your stomach in about a 2-hour period. Does it still take a while? Yes. Can you take a mortar and pestle and grind it up and put it in a liquid or a smoothie and drink it? Yes. Would you absorb it better? Yes. But you'll still it won't be as good as our powders or our liquids. I definitely like our powders and liquids better. They have benefits. You know, I went on AI today and I put in colloidal minerals, and we weren't quoted by name, but we were quoted by where we get our minerals. It actually talks about our source versus anybody else. And it also definitely says that you have to have a healthy digestive tract in any case to absorb any minerals. And so that's a big major issue that I don't think a lot of people realize, and the benefits. And so I want to encourage everyone to please consider the health of their gut as a primary investment as far as the nutrients that are going on. Now, everybody has to have a angle to sell products. And so you always see where people say ours is the best because, and you know, and the probably the most famous one is fruits and vegetables. We have fruits and vegetable capsules will take care of all your fruits and vegetables and all those types of things. And that's not really a true statement. Because if you think about those little capsules, and most of those little capsules can hold is 600 milligrams, which means if you take 2, you're getting 1.2 grams. And that's not enough fruits and vegetables. It just isn't beneficial. Even on our super greens, I think we put an 8-gram scoop in there to give 8 times the amount. And you can always have stuff tested with ORAC score. ORAC score is oxygen radical absorption capacity, and it has a way to compare everybody's antioxidants with everybody else's. And I can tell you that spices traditionally have the strongest antioxidants. They usually are very, very high. And I can tell you that some of our products, especially 3.0, will pretty much top everyone in the market by far. We have independent excuse me, I'm double stumbling just like the beginning. We have independent testing by labs that show that we have over a 300,000 ORAC score on 3.0, which is an unbelievably strong level. If you bring in Doc and he talks about antioxidant scores, he'll talk about if someone's struggling with challenges such as immune disorders or cancer, things like that, they have to be over 100,000. And in the beginning of our lives, back 25 years ago, we struggled at reaching that number. We can now exceed it by 3 times. And I don't know of anybody out there that has an ORAC score in their products that's 300,000. So I'm sure we're going to get challenged on it. And I'm sure Steve will make available on the site here in the next month or so, and that's Steve Wallach, the ORAC score so that you can see it. And it's also per serving. So don't let other people's ORAC score paperwork confuse you. Make sure you look at the unit of measurement, whether it's per liter, which means you have to drink a whole liter of the bottle to get that score, or per serving, per gram, per ounce, or however they have it. That's a key thing. In fact, I used to, when I was out on the road doing a lecture, actually spend about 10, 15 minutes bringing up ORAC scores from various companies and let people guess on how strong it is just by doing that. And so those are the 2 areas. The last question before I'll kind of open it up is that people always ask me, we have so many products, how do we know which one's the best? And I have trouble memorizing all of them. Well, I can tell you that I've been involved with designing nutritional products and working with our products for 28 plus years. And I've been doing this for over 35 years. And I can tell you, I do not know every product off the top of my head. There's all the times I go on the website and I can look up the supplement fact panels and I can see them easily. But when I work with my new people, I go, can you learn 4 products really well? And how long would it take you to learn 4 products? And they go, oh yeah, I can handle 4 products. And I go, okay, here they are. Healthy Start Pack, Healthy Blood Sugar Pack, Healthy Bone and Joint Pack, Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. Learn those 4 packs. And then once they learn that, and they can typically do it in the first couple of weeks before they feel pretty comfortable with it all, I say, now I want you to add 4 products that you have passion about. Now, for me, we've already talked about a couple of them, Ultimate Selenium and I-26. Now, my list is a little bit longer than most people, and that's great, but it's a good way to do it. And then the third thing I tell them to do is find a partner and have them get 4 things that aren't your 4 things, and then work as a team together. Couple reasons for that. If you work as a team together, you're able to share information more effectively and beneficial to them. If you work with a teammate, they can motivate you and overcome challenges, and you can just bounce ideas. Do you think this will work? There was a guest speaker by the name of Michael Burnoff that was on the event this last weekend, and he talked about how to get people excited about product over the internet via text messages and whatnot, and not sound like a salesperson. And so when those videos come up, I encourage you all to get on there and take a look-see on them. But the 4 main products, healthy is the 4 main packs. Now there's also the Healthy Athletic Pack, and there's also the Healthy Weight Loss Pack, but I usually stick with the 4. And just to make it simple, blood sugar is anything that has to do with a bad gut or a challenge with the gut. Healthy Digestive Pack, Healthy Blood Sugar is if you have trouble with blood sugar in those particular areas. Bone and Joint is anything with connective tissue in your body. And Healthy Brain and Heart is any organ in your body. And so that's kind of the easy way to start learning for those. And then you can make recommendations to people. Now, remember, I do the Healthy Digestive Pack, just about everybody, because when I get their little health survey and they tell me what's going on, typically they have problems with their joints, and they might have high blood pressure, and they might have cholesterol that's off. And, so they have multiple categories. And so then I deal with the digestive pack, so we get their gut healthy. And then we deal with the individual challenges. And I usually work one at a time on which one's the most severe, rather than give them 10 different products to take, because usually cost becomes an issue and they won't take all 10. And so I try to keep it, as I describe it, KISS, if I don't use the second S, just keep it simple, and then go from there. And that's how I train my people. So that's typically the questions I get. I'm going to click here and take out the banner, because I noticed Bill at the very beginning. And if Ruth Ellen's okay, we can open it up for questions and see what people have.
That's perfect. I will. Bill, would you like to unmute, please?
Yes, thank you, Richard. Okay. Now, on the cardio beats, I took it last night along with my 3.0. Is it probably best not to take that? I'm thinking that might create more energy, the nitrous oxide, and maybe do that earlier in the day and not before going to bed.
So you would do it with Rise, not Restore.
Okay.
So
Understood.
yes, your question.
Okay. Another thing was, would you, since we had the event Saturday and we've got the new product line for the GLP-1, would you give some reasons why people should not want to do that? I understand there's some people with rare eye problems, but also why we're adding the products that we do, like the super greens, and just talk a little bit about that, maybe.
Okay. We might have a little beep occasionally in my background. If you do, I apologize. Okay. GLP, I'm going to make this kind of short and probably not answer all your questions, because I'm going to be on in a second, and I'll try to have the presentation, the PowerPoint, and we'll actually go through the whole PowerPoint. So if you think of a nerve receptor, which we have a synapse, and if you didn't know, there's more nerves and synapses that take place between your stomach and gut and your brain than any other organ in your body, more than your eye, more than all your joints to make your legs go straight or bend, or your fingers to do this type of stuff, more than your muscles on contractions. And it's by 2 or 3 times. It's just a huge number. And so the way a neuron receptor works, if you think about it, it's like an empty straw, and the synapse occurs in the hole in the straw. And if there's something like a protein in your stomach that lands on top of that nerve receptor that tells your body whether you're full or not, it fires that synapse and you don't feel full. Now, there's hundreds of those in your stomach, thousands. And what GLP does is that it's a protein that your body actually naturally makes, but it makes very, very, very small amounts. It's putting a huge dose in there of a long-lasting, genetically modified protein. That's why it says -1 after it. And it has a tendency to land on top of that synapse and last for approximately 6 to 8 hours. And so you feel full. So you can have absolutely nothing in your stomach and you'll feel full for up to 8 hours. Now, here's some of the disadvantages. You will probably have the desire to only eat about 500 calories a day. Now, we did have products that would help you, that we may suggest that you take 1,000 a day. When I work with those people, I say you should take it for a month and get off of it for a month or two, and then go back on in that type of a program, because it's hard on your body. So if 1,000 is hard on your body, 500 is even worse. And what happens is, yes, you're going to build fat off your middle and everywhere else in your body. Your skin will be tighter. You know, that's what everybody wants, you know, but it's also building, removing muscle density in your body. You're moving muscle volume. And when you get to be the age I am, in fact, anyone over about the age of 40, building muscle mass becomes very difficult. You can go spend hours in the gym, take lots of protein, and you still can't get muscle mass. And if you want to get on Facebook and you take a look at Tangy, who's another one of our formulators, he's an absolutely great individual. He's Indian. He's about 5'4". He's a graduate of Michigan. I consider him a dear friend. He looks like a pencil stick, but if you really look at him, he's very, very fit, extremely fit. And we were talking about it, and he's just turning 50. And he says, I'm trying to increase my muscle mass. I just can't do it if I only spend, you ready, 2 to 3 hours in a gym 5 days a week. And he's having trouble doing it. And he's a chemist like I am. And so the average person out there loses their muscle mass. They don't have as much. They get off of the GLP and start eating like they did before, and they'll gain the weight back. But here's the problem. You don't have the muscle mass now to build up the extra insulin and all those challenges. And you go back and you become worse than you were in the first place. I am not in favor of GLP. So our products give you a more sound basis. The first one is the Healthy Start Pack, because if your body gets all the nutrients that it needs, it will feel full to it. A lot of people have a tendency not to get all 90 essential nutrients. And what happens is they eat empty calories for their food that have low density of value. And your body says, okay, I didn't get enough vitamin C. I didn't get enough calcium. I didn't get enough magnesium. I didn't get enough selenium. I need to eat more. And your body tells you that. So you keep putting food in your mouth that doesn't have any value to it. You feel and you still get those calories, and then you do it. The other thing that we have a tendency to do is that we eat a small lunch or small breakfast. We skip lunch, and then we eat everything at dinner, and then we go to bed. Well, that's kind of backwards. If you're going to burn calories, you're going to do it while you're awake, not while you sleep. You repair your body while you sleep and you burn some calories, but not as much as if you're active during the day. And so your two big meals should be breakfast and lunch. Your small meal should be dinner. So I tell people, you can do eat less at lunch. So you start to get that way, and then go back to the meal replacement shakes for dinner. And you're still getting the protein, but you're getting enriched vitamins in it. And as long as you're taking the 90 essential nutrients, you'll naturally lose weight in that benefit. And so then you're getting the greens, you're getting immortalium that helps with your synapse within your body, and you're getting the 90 essential nutrients, and it can be a beneficial weight loss program without putting that GLP in your body that I dislike so much. So, Bill, does that kind of answer that question?
Yes, it was a question for the audience, but I appreciate that.
All right.
Also, what other single item did you get most out of the event?
Well, I like Saxy that it has collagen, because I think collagen is a great substitute that we do. 3.0 with it's now available for vegetarians because it has no animal product, and also has that high of an ORAC score. Excites me for general health. And I just want everyone to get all 90 essential nutrients. That's always been my take my shoe off and pound it on the desk like Gorbachev did that one time, just to get your attention, and anything I can do to get your attention. When we talk about Michael Burnoff and what he does when he does messaging on message or emails, is he always asks person a question without a product involved. I've been having trouble sleep lately. Do you have trouble sleeping? And you'd be surprised if you do that, how many people will respond to it, or if you send it to someone, how fast they respond to it. Then he says you need to be patient. You need to wait a day. And then you can turn around and say, have you tried that longevity sleep package? Because I have, and it seems to be making a difference. In other words, you make them kind of hunger for the information a little bit. And he says you're far more successful. So that was a big thing that I pulled out. I actually emailed one of my downline that's very active in the business. I go, are you feeling like you have less energy lately? Well, and I did it right when Michael was talking, and before he even finished his lecture, it wasn't even 10 minutes. She had responded back and says, give me a break, Richard. You know, I just moved. I'm exhausted. I don't know what I'm going to do to get my energy back. And then she goes, and why are you asking me this? Well, I was honest with her, and I say, we're doing an experiment here in the convention, and you responded just like was predicted. And did you know that Saxy has collagen in it and is an antioxidant? And you know that you can take pollen bursts and get that energy in the afternoon? And she goes, I'm going to start taking pollen bursts every day. And so it was a way to get people involved. And so it was kind of interesting. So those were other things that was really interesting that I enjoyed at the convention.
That's exactly the way I thought you were going to answer that. Thank you.
AJ.
Hey, Richard, how's it going?
I'm doing well.
Good. I don't know if you can answer this question, but Olga on YouTube is asking, what is the ORAX of super greens, please?
I do not know that score. I will try to have it by next Tuesday because I'll be back on the 4th.
Okay. And
time out. I need to write it down. I'm that age now.
right.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, and then my question, I'll have to come back because it eluded my mind, and I guess I'm that age too.
Thank you. We have a product called Synaptive. I can go over that one.
Yes, that would be great. I just want, and AJ, when you remember, raise your hand again, okay? I just want to say about the Saxy. I love Saxy. I used to mix it in with the frozen banana and frozen almond milk ice cubes and make it. That was my dessert, and chocolate powder, organic cacao. And I'm really happy that in addition to it having collagen, it no longer has sugar. I'm really happy about that. So anybody who's on keto, That's A plus. So
There
yes,
is no added sugar in this protein drink either.
I know. I ordered some yesterday and I can't
1
wait
gram of natural sugar, but no sugar. Oh, it looks like AJ remembered what he was going to ask me.
Okay. All right. AJ?
Actually, it was kind of a comment that you were talking about appetite suppressant. I noticed that pollen burst, if I drink a pollen burst, I really don't have any desire for like I'm satisfied. Like I don't know if there's a mechanism going on there, but I tend to feel pretty full with pollen bursts.
That doesn't surprise me, but I can't give you that mechanism. The other thing with Saxy now with the collagen in it, yeah, I'm holding up the right card. Saxy with the collagen in it is that those 2 grams of collagen will give you that same filling sensation as well. And so you'll start to see that. The other trend I forgot to mention from the convention, going back to what Bill was saying, is that we're leaning more towards individual sachets for our products. And the main reason for that is A, convenience for you to make sure you get the correct dose. But the other thing is for sharing with people. It makes it very easy to sample people and, talk about, I tried this. It's an incredible product. Do you want to give it a go and share the sample? The only thing that I've been told is, well, I believe as well, is that be careful when you sample, that you want to have a warm lead. Doesn't have to be a hot lead, but not a warm lead, because it's a major investment when you start handing out 100 and you're only getting a return. You have to look at your return. And so, if you go to a trade show and you have thousands of people attending your booth and you're giving each one a sample, that financially can be a huge investment without a big return. But if you have a conversation with someone that, for example, doesn't have enough energy, yeah, and I says, well, have you tried the pollen burst? No. Then I'd send them a couple sachets of pollen burst and let them try it. And then, that's what I'm referring to as a warm comment.
Thank you so much. And yeah, that I wouldn't want to hand them out at the trade shows, but it is very convenient too when you're traveling to have sachets. So Olga says, thank you. Love Richard Renton. She loves you. We all love you. So I would love it if you went ahead and talked about Synaptip, because it is an amazing product.
So the goal of Synaptive is that it has phytoserines in it, and there's 3 different types, and phytoserines have been shown through research to help people with short-term memory issue. And then we also have other ingredients in there to benefit with that. So phytoserine is targeted for anyone over the age of 50, because you start to weaken on your brain health. Of course, I'm going to tell you, make sure you take your EFAs, as well as kids going to school. Think about it now. We have a challenge with the way we allow our kids to go to school. And if you live in Oregon, I'm sorry, but I always pick on Oregon. They're one of the worst school states in the United States. And I think the main reason is they only have 165 days that the kids are in school, and they have more 3, 4, and 5 day weekends and more longer periods in between, like spring break and Christmas break, than any school district I've ever seen. And when you teach a child something for 4 days and then they have 5 days off, they forget. I mean, that's just natural. And everyone always in Oregon screams that their skills aren't enough. But with the contracts that the teachers are under, they get so many days off and those types of things, and just created this monster. To give you an idea, the state of New York has a minimum of 185 teaching days per year. So they have 20 more days that kids are in class. And if do we want to have the argument, is it up to the states to determine what's going on, or do we want to make it a federal mandate? I'm not going to get into it, but I will tell you that the states control those type of situations, and it shows a variance there on what's going on as far as test scores. And I guarantee if you look at the test scores, the states that have the highest have the shortest durations between holidays and whatnot, and have more days in school. And I want our kids to get back that and see that benefit. And so my grandkids take Synaptive every day to help them with their schooling. And they're unfortunately in Oregon.
Very good. I'm glad to know that because I have grandkids too that are in school, elementary school. So we did get a couple questions that came in, and one of them is, do colloidal minerals help with peripheral neuropathy?
So the amount of calcium and magnesium will help with that. I would treat that on the same parallel as I did at the beginning of the call with sciatic. I would make sure that they're taking more magnesium. That's the one that people seem to miss up. They it's not that hard for them to get 2,000 milligrams of calcium, but they're short on the magnesium, and to kick that body up. The liquid glucogel and EFAs are important on that one. And that's what I would encourage on that one, on sciatica. I'm not sciatica, but also neuropathy. Oh, and nerve support. Forgot that one. Oh, you can also get ALA. We have ALA in our EFAs, and we have ALA in our other products. You just have to look on the supplement fact panel, just like I will when I get off the call, so that when I get hit up with this question, I'll be able to give a better answer.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so AJ?
Sorry, Richard. Can you just give us what you think, based on your experience, one might want to target besides the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack for heart health? What are some key components? Because I did hear Bill mention the nitrous oxide. Yeah, the cardio beats. What types of things do you think for general heart health?
Well, cardio beats is a good one. Either Pro Cardio, Cardio FX, because of the hawthorn berry in it. Hawthorn berry has, over a long period of time, help get excessive plaque out of your arteries so that you have better blood flow, which means your heart doesn't have to work hard. So if you have high cholesterol or high blood pressure, we need to get that down because it's taxing the heart. And so taking EFAs and hawthorn berry will help with that particular challenge. And so those are absolutely must. That's why in the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, you can take up to 8 a day, 9 a day of essential fatty acids. I don't know anyone that can really overdose on essential fatty acids. I've never seen anybody do that. When your body's telling you that you probably are taking more than your need, is when your skin, if you normally have either semi-dry or normal skin, and all of a sudden you start to really get oily, not just in your T-zone, but everywhere, that means you can back off on your EFAs.
Good to know. Thank you. Okay, so I have another question that came in the chat, and it's about prostate formulas, things that benefit the prostate. And this woman, I'm not sure how to pronounce, I think it's Lisa, says, can you say why Prohoba Prostat is a better product than other natural prostate health options? So can you talk about the different prostate health options that we have?
Sure. So there's two things involved with prostate. There's an enlarged prostate, and then there's prostate cancer. So we have to differentiate the two. So we're going to talk about enlarged prostate. We have ProstFX, which is one of my designs. So I'm going to be prejudiced and say I like that one the best. There's Prost Health, I think it's called, or Prost Support, which is a strong tincture. And both of them have herbs that will shrink and enlarge prostate. When you take pollen that's in the Prostat, it has a tendency to do the same thing. And so all three have herbs that are in there that will shrink and enlarge prostate. Now, if they are cancerous, there's different forms of prostate cancer. most of them, and I want to say about 7 out of 8 strains, are very slow growing. In other words, it takes years. And so it gives you time to move. But there is one form that is very fast growing. If you have that fast growing, you don't have really a good alternative to be aggressive with it, because it will double in size in every 4 or 5 months. My unfortunate situation is I had that form. And so I didn't have time in my mind. And by the way, this is 18 years ago. I didn't have time to take a nutritional supplement to try to do it. But if I did, and I wanted to do an experiment, not to treat or diagnose, but I'd be making sure that I take beta glucan, which we're coming out with a new formula any week now, as well as Z radical, as well as 90 essential nutrients and extra selenium, because those work in that direction. And so if your friend just has an enlarged prostate, my personal choice would be ProstFX or the Good Herbs, and then followed by Prostat. If we get Adrienne Gold on the phone or on the call, she might go in a different order. And it's just personal preference. She designed that product and has passion for it, and I give her credit for that.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. And that would be okay to take with like things that had saw palmetto in it, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Perfect. And I don't know, did you have a hard stop? I have a couple more questions.
We can go for it.
Okay. All right. So Richard Purcell is asking, is it okay to reduce scoop amount of OsteoFX, as it makes it a little hard to go sometimes? I mix with 3.0.
Yes. Are you taking it with both stages? I think that if he did it with Restore and he didn't have to get up and go to the bathroom like I do in the middle of the night, he may appreciate it. If he takes it with Rise, then it might be a challenge. Also, I will tell him that he needs to increase the amount of water he drinks. Idealistically, which most people don't do, for every pound you weigh, you drink an ounce. And so, but a lot of people don't drink that much. But on the other hand, we need to drink those 32 ounces of water and things like that more regularly. And if we can get him to drink more water, then you won't have the urination problem.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. And then Sherry was wondering if you could talk about the Occutive, and I lost the chat because it moved on me, and Vision FX.
So Vision FX is one of my designs that I think I did about 15 years ago. So there's more than just lutein in to help with eye health. There's xanthan, and there's all sorts of different formulas, as well as vitamin C and hawthorn berry. We talked about hawthorn berry because they have very small capillaries in your eyes, and we need to keep the blood flow going in there. And so I usually start people out on Vision FX, not because Vision FX is particularly a better formula, it's price point. If I have them taking 90 for life and Vision FX, they can typically handle that. If we don't see an improve in vision, or they still have eye irritation or itchy eye, or they have bloodshot eyes on a regular basis, then I'll step up to Occutive, because it has a lot of the same active ingredients, but it has more. But in that being, and it has some trademark ones that are proven to be a little more absorbable. And so because of that, it's a more expensive product. So I kind of stack them. I try Vision FX first to see if it works, and then I'll move to Occutive. And I talked to him about it. I says, if we don't see improvement in 2 or 3 months, I'm going to want to switch you to this one. And we talked about it. And he says, well, can I go straight to Occutive? If they ask that question, then I say, sure, let's go ahead and do that.
Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And thank you so much for being on today. And sorry about my stumbling this earlier. My screen just everything went away. So I'm really looking forward to the next time that you're on as well. And Okay. Sorry that somebody had a follow-up to the question, but it's about a product that we don't have. So we can't speak to those, can we? Anyway, thank you so much, Richard. I always value all of your insights and the formulas that you've created. I mean, I'm very grateful. And with the sleep products, I absolutely love that the Osteo Mag is in with the sleep products, because that has made a huge difference for me, because I take it at night and my body can handle the extra magnesium at night. And I can even take it. I take my Osteo FX with the Restore, and it is just a beautiful result. And my muscles feel better. So if I can get my co-host to come on with me, we can. Do you have any last words or thoughts?
So my last words is that, you know, we want everyone to take 90 essential nutrients for their personal health and that. And yes, we are a company, but if you find that these products are beneficial to you and you don't share them, you're just cheating somebody else. And so I'll encourage all of you to, if you find success with the longevity products, and in my heart you will, that you'll share them with your neighbor or friend so that they can have the same qualities as you have.
And I agree with that. That's very good. Yes, we should all share, because I know everyone on here, it's changed their lives. So thank you for joining us, everybody. I'm Ruth Ellen Sanchez. I'm filling in for Rebecca Dukes. And this show was sponsored by dailywithdoc.com. And if somebody referred you to this program, please make sure that you get back with them, as they will be the one that can help you with the different things you have to ask. And also, Teresa says, thank you, Richard. Very helpful information. And thank you, everyone. Thank you, Teresa. It's awesome. All right. So we do have a call team. If you have any questions, it is 855-949-3377. And we do have 24 hours, because our friend Albert here is in South Africa. And so he answers the calls at night while we're all sleeping. Also, if you have any questions that did not get answered, please email us at questions@dailywithdoc.com, and a certified holistic health coach will get back to you. And that is if you are not working with somebody. If you are working with somebody, please ask them your questions. All right. And this program was for educational purposes only. It was not meant to treat, diagnose, or cure anything. All righty. So we have Albert from South Africa, who is the first one on my screen, who's been helping to let people in. And, you know, we just adore him. He's teaching us Afrikaans and every once in a while. So we love that. And then we have Kaylee, who is our student intern, who is part of our team, and she's going to be with us for this semester. And I really value her input and her suggestions on things that we should do different. So thank you. That's why you all get a story now on what's going to be on the next day. And then we have Sherry, who helps with the live streaming. So I send a signal to her and she sends it out, and that's how you all get it on YouTube, Rumble, and Facebook. So thank you so much, Sherry. And then we have Marilyn, who is fingers, and she just types a mile a minute. And so if you're here live with us, then you can take a picture of the chat, and then you can have all the information. And, you know, because I mean, taking notes, you don't hear everything that's said. So she does that for you. So thank you, Marilyn. And then we have AJ, who does not have his camera on at this moment, but he is our digital marketing director, and he is a phenomenal asset to the team. And we are very grateful to have him. And Rebecca, I hope you're having a good day, and we look forward to seeing you so soon. So thank you for joining us, everyone. And always remember, share the 90 essential nutrients with people. Tell your story. But most of all, be kind, because you just don't know what kind of a day somebody is having. They could look happy and be pretending and expressing to the world that everything in their life is good. But on the inside, they could be crying. So be kind. And thank you for joining us. And Richard, we look forward to you being back with us next Tuesday. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody. Bye for now.
Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. This program is for educational purposes only. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual sharing their testimony. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach.